Gen X Joe and the youth gone wild. Podcast is making your summer a blast. Lined up for interviews or rock. Legends in the game and new blood trying to make a name. Streaming everywhere. Yeah. And the youth gone wild. Podcast is making your summer a blast. Lined up for interviews or rock. Legends in the game and new blood trying to make a name. Streaming everywhere.
What is going on, my fellow beach bums? Well, wait, I'm sorry. I shouldn't jump to conclusions. Maybe you are not at the beach. Maybe you are just on a staycation. That's cool too. But myself, Gen X Joe, I am actually on vacation for the next couple of weeks. And then I have a couple of road trips I need to go on with the family and a few other commitments that I need to be taken care of. Now, before you jump to conclusions, the answer is no. No, I am not going to jail. My youth gone wild side is way in the past. That's why my show is now called the Youth Gone Mild Podcast. And just to reintroduce my podcast, it is the Youth Gone Mild, where hairlines fade, but rock never does. And normally I would be saying I am coming to you from my studio called Wherever I May Roam. However, I am actually coming to you from wherever this summer takes me. And these episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks or month, I am calling them the vacation episodes. They are already pre-produced and going to be streaming throughout the entire month of July and possibly into August. I am still going to be bringing you the best conversations, the best stories, and of course, the best guest in the rock scene today. And hell, I have some legends and I have some new blood that's trying to make a name for themselves. Great interviews all lined up. And before I get to the interview, I just want to thank my sponsor, Lisa Gandia of Celebrity Events. If you are a new artist, an established artist, or even an old head, and you are looking to book shows nationally, Lisa is the person you want to get in touch with. Tell her Gen X Joe sent you, and you can reach out to her on her website at celebrityeventsrock.com. For social media, for myself here at the Youth Gone Mild podcast, we are on all major social media platforms at Youth Gone Mild PC. And as I like to say, the PC does not stand for politically correct. All right, so it's time to kick back, crack open something cold, enjoy that sun, the sand if you're at the beach, and most importantly, the sound of the Youth Gone Mild podcast. I am in vacation mode, and these are the vacation episodes of the Youth Gone Mild podcast. Here's today's interview.
Hey, Drew, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Oh, man. Well, hey, I'm glad we were able to get this together, man. You're a busy guy.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I guess I just stay on the grind, brother. I'm glad we were able to figure it out, too.
Absolutely, man. Now, you know what was crazy? I was always under the impression that your father was the country artist Chris Cagle.
I mean, probably every other show we do, someone comes up to me in some fashion and says, "Hey, are you related to Chris Cagle?" And I always pretty much say something along the lines of, "I'm sure we are. You know, I never see him. It's not like we see each other at like family reunions or anything, but because I guess I'd have to go to him to see him. But I'm sure we're related somewhere down the line. I think we're probably like distant cousins or something, but I don't know him or anything like that. We've worked with a lot of the same people though.
Oh, well, that's cool.
And we have a lot of like mutual connections. I'm waiting for the day we finally get to meet each other. I'm sure I hear more about him than he is about me. Well, maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, well, he had that one huge song. I mean, he had a few, but the one that I remember most was "The Chicks Dig It."
Yeah, yeah. We also make some. I guess we make some pretty different music too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of music and family, I seen that your father was actually a rock musician.
Yeah, yeah. So my dad was a guitarist in like a local Central Illinois band called Bad Attitude, which is ironically the name of our new album. And so he was a guitarist in that band, and growing up, he pretty much showed me all his favorite bands and stuff like that. It wasn't until later that I kind of discovered some of his songs and stuff like that. And they never had like a public release or anything like that, and never really got much out of the Midwest. But when I made this new album, Bad Attitude, I ended up not only writing a song called Bad Attitude, but actually I covered one of his old songs from like an EP I found on a cassette hidden in the basement with a bunch of dust on it, like a movie or something. And I pulled it out and listened to it, and there was a song on the album called on their EP called So Cold, and I fell in love with it, and I kind of took it and rewrote it myself, and so we did a cover of it on the Bad Attitude album.
That's totally awesome, man. Did he even know? Were you going to surprise him?
He was actually against the idea. He didn't know until much later. I really dug the song, and I thought I heard something in the song that I thought I could show people that people would really like. And he was just like, "Man, it's an old song. Why would anyone now want to hear it?" Kind of that mindset is like, well, make your own stuff. Don't worry about our stuff. And I was like, nah, I really believe in it, and I really think I can do something cool with it. So I rewrote some of the lyrics and added a couple stops in there, and took it to the studio, and it turned out so well, and now it's a fan favorite. So I'm glad that I stuck with it, and I thought it was perfect to put on the album named after his band and stuff like that too. So once he heard, it didn't take long. Once he heard the studio musicians, once he heard Shannon Forrest from Toto playing drums on it, and bass Craig Young from Elton John, and Soul Littlefield from Luke Combs, and all those guys playing on it, his mind changed really quick. He's like, "Holy shit, that sounds great! Yeah, that's got to be on the record." So it was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, man. Like a little salute to your dad right there. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, man. Whenever I create anything, I want it to have some deep underlying meaning behind it, and I thought that for this album, a lot of the things that was going on in my life at the time, kind of really was paralleling with the name Bad Attitude, and what I was being perceived as, and my band being called The Reputation, and I was like, well, let's just go all in with it. It's music's a family business, as people always say. So,
Dude, that fit right in. When I saw that, I was wondering, like, did he really do that? And then the more I read, I was like, yep, there it is, black and white. He did do that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I think it turned out so great. It's a lot of some of the fans' favorite song that we do. So I'm glad that I, not only was able to use it to help the band, I was able to shine some light on some of the efforts that my dad and his band, a lineup of guys and stuff like that did back in the day. And I just hope anytime I can take a song that maybe hasn't been heard by a bunch of people, and give it life, and give it the chance to connect with people on an emotional level, man, then I'm gonna do it. And especially I got 7 songs that I wrote on the record. I can throw in one for some other guys too.
Yeah, well, heck yeah, man. We're going to come back to your music and everything. But, being from that Champaign, Illinois area, man, that same region gave us Head East and REO Speedwagon. You seem to kind of be carrying the torch now.
There's something in the water over here, you know. There is no Drew Cagle and The Reputation without both of those bands. Just growing up, those guys, REO Speedwagon, they're like the North Star um, of music in Central Illinois, especially when you live right here, right next to Champaign and stuff like that. And everyone knows somebody. You know, you can find Bruce Hall at the grocery stores and stuff like that. It's a cool thing being around here, and um, even to be mentioned in the same breath as those guys is an honor. And we've been very fortunate to play a bunch of shows with the guys in Head East. Actually, I think the second national act we ever opened up for was Head East, and we just had an incredible show that night, and the guys were so cool, and we've got to play a dozen or half dozen shows with them since then, and I remain good friends with the guys. So I just I love the Head East guys, and I love the legacy of REO, and you know, Cheap Trick is from around here too.
Oh, I forgot about them.
And so, you know, we got to play with Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick in December of last year, and he couldn't have been cooler. Every bit of a rock star. So it's Central Illinois and just Illinois in general has got a lot of like really rich history in rock and roll. It not only the bands you know about, but there's just so many great bands you probably still don't know about that never got to break through. It's just a hub for creating great musicians. I don't know necessarily how much music is still alive and well back here anymore as far as the original rock, but man, we're gonna do our best to keep the torch going.
Well, hell yeah. And, you know, I just thought of someone who is from that area. Familiar with Mike Hansen from Hurricane and the Davy Knowles band?
I've never met him, but I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, we got Enough's Enough from out that way.
Yeah, they're from around here somewhere. That's like the one hair band we haven't played with at this point. I'm sure we will at some point though. I've heard a bunch of great things about those guys.
Well, speaking of hair bands, and I don't know if you want to loop them into that genre, we'll just put hard rock. You had TRACII Guns on the title track of your album, man. How did that collaboration come about?
Tracy's a beast, man. Man, it feels like forever ago now. A couple of years ago, I was in the process of still making this record, the Bad Attitude record, and I had every other song on the record finished, except for the title track. And we were kind of in the studio, and I was just stuck on it, and I was like, man, the song's missing something. I know, you know, that always happens in the recording process. There's always a part that you kind of get hiccuped on and you kind of get stuck on it, and you're like, okay, well, we'll get around to it. So, I had to leave the studio, and, we went on a run of shows with LA Guns at the time, and we were opening the shows with that song at the time. We were still playing a lot of the songs from Bad Attitude out before it was even released. And, after I think the second show or something like that, Tracy was like, man, I dug that song. I liked you guys and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, I'm glad that you dig it. We, you know, kind of asked him, hey man, what would you think about playing on it? I'm kind of stuck on it right now, and I don't know kind of what it's missing. And then, I sent it over, and Tracy loved the track. And, within, I think, a couple days at least, it was like the second he got off tour, he sent me back this masterful, guitar track that just colored the whole song, and just made it come to life. And, you know, I always tell people now that, you know, I thought something was missing from the song, and it turned out the only thing that was missing was TRACII Guns. So,
man, that's an incredible story, man. You know, he must have took a real hell of a liking to you to offer that.
I mean, he was just so cool. And, you know, I think guys like that have been in the business so long, I think they like giving back to the new bands and new artists. And there's two things. You can rather be the rock star that, you know, treats everyone like they're beneath you and you're better than everyone else, or you can be the rock star that is there because they love the music and they love the people. And Tracy loved the music, and he loved the people, and he loved the fans, and he knew that he could make something cool. Man, it just felt so effortless. for him to put that rock stardom, on the track. And, I don't know if you heard the song or not, but whenever whenever you listen to it, it just feels like he just plugged his guitar in and just soloed over the whole track, and then just unplugged it and walked away. It just feels like that effortless of, attitude and that LA sleaze that it needed. And man, it was just so cool to hear it the first time. I just remember one of those things that we get it back and you get to play it for the first time and everyone just kind of sits up out of their chair like, holy shit, what is this? and that was just so cool to get. At the very least, if no one ever got to hear it, to give that moment to me as a young songwriter was awesome.
Well, you do describe your sound as attitude rock, man. So that kind of fits right in with what you were saying.
Everyone's got to make their own path, and as far as we go, the attitude rock, the baddest band on the planet, all those things, they're fun little branding tools, but when you go into the show, it makes sense. We're that high energy, no apologies, balls to the wall rock and roll, right on the edge of going off the rails, but we keep it there. And it's just real rock and roll the way it's supposed to be played, and with all that grit and attitude and aggression and danger. I mean, rock and roll, there's absolutely nothing dangerous about rock and roll right now. And that's one of the absolute core elements of the genre. And I feel like everyone is just missing it. Without sounding cheesy, that's what we're here to do. We're here to make it dangerous again. We're here to make it gritty, or put the attitude back in rock and roll and make it feel real again.
You made it. You had a #1 song on Media Base Classic Rock's chart with All Figured Out, man. When you wrote that song, did you have any idea that it had that kind of potential?
It's hard to gauge it when you've never had any sort of commercial success at that time, right? So that was one of the songs I had mentioned how in the recording process, Bad Attitude was kind of keeping us stuck at the end of the process. Well, All Figured Out was kind of the other side of the coin. It was right before we went in to record the Bad Attitude album. I actually only had 7 songs ready for the recording session. And then I think it was like 2 nights before, I sat in my garage and I wrote All Figured Out in about 30 minutes. I remember writing it. I took a minute. I played it again. And then I immediately sent my producer a message and said, hey man, I just wrote this other song that I think has to be on the record. And I was like, and I sent him a little clip of me playing it. And he said, done. That's on the record. And then, we went in and that was the first song we cut in the recording process. At the start of the day, everyone's so energetic. They're excited. I brought in a bunch of killer studio musicians and pretty much told them, hey, let loose. And, everyone was just so excited to do it. And so then it just captured that energy of, what that song needed in that first take. I'd say when I wrote it, I thought it was a good song. I didn't know it was a great song. It wasn't until after the whole recording process was done and I heard what we were able to accomplish once we layered everything up and mixed it. I was like, man, my producer was like, this song's got, not only does this song need to be the lead song from the album, you gotta really put some stuff behind this. And I was thinking the same thing. And then we sent it out and we did it as a single, and then we did an All Figured Out tour before we released Bad Attitude. Alice Cooper picked up the song and played it on his radio station, and then it kind of went up after that. So that was really cool.
It wasn't too long ago that Eddie Trunk mentioned you on his show as well.
Yeah. Eddie's been a great supporter of us. I love Eddie. He played our song She Said, another single we had from the record. He played it on his syndicated radio show on terrestrial radio. Earlier, late last year or something like that, when we were on tour with Buckcherry. And then he, just recently picked up our new single, Wine Talkin', that we're kind of pushing right now, and, played it on the Sirius XM show. So, I mean, Eddie's been just so cool, to us and supportive of what we're doing. So you know, I can't thank guys like him and Alice Cooper and the people that went out of their way to um, show their fans, you know, my music and my songs. It's like you don't have to do that, but man, is it really cool that you gave a young kid a chance from Central Illinois, right?
Yeah. And you're also getting rave reviews from Sony and Rolling Stone, Spin. They're basically calling you and the band one of the top new bands to watch, man. I mean, that's awesome, dude.
Thanks, man. It's kind of it's crazy when you when you say it. You know, it's crazy to hear. But I mean, all I'm really doing is making songs from the heart, putting some really cool guitar solos on there, and playing one hell of a rock and roll show to the fans. Uh, I think people get so caught up in all these other elements that it needs this, it needs that. It's like, man, if the show's real and you're real and it's authentic, then the fans can sink their teeth into it. And all I've ever wanted to do is create something cool for the fans and have my music, you know, impact people's lives and feel special to them and make them forget about their problems for a little while. So if I was able to accomplish any of those things, um, then I'm happy to say it's all worth it. And I'm really grateful that so many different people have gotten on board in this period of time. So I just thank everyone for being along for the ride and get ready because we're just getting started.
Your latest song that you just mentioned, you are a huge Garth Brooks fan also. So I noticed a little trickle, or maybe a little more than a trickle, of country music in some of your sound, man.
I think every artist, if you're being honest with yourself, you're a product of your surroundings. So you're influenced by everything that you listen to from the day you hear music for the first time to tomorrow when you hear your next favorite song. So I, you know, like I said, I've never tried to write in a specific genre. I've never tried to write in a specific way. I mean, yes, it's attitude rock. Yes, we're yes, the baddest band on the planet, but ultimately I'm a songwriter first. I just write what I'm feeling at the time. And I think that's the best way to connect to people because we're all humans and we all have, similar emotions no matter how crazy and different, our lives can be at the same time. We have these things that unite us and keep us in common and their emotions and feelings that everyone has. And so, I just write based off those. And then I try to build what the song needs around it. And Wine Talkin' was the last song from the Bad Attitude album. We had 7 songs just kicking ass the whole time. And, Wine Talkin' was the last song that the last song on the record and, pretty much the go home song or the cliffhanger or whatever you'd want to call it. And, I wanted to show them something a little bit different, that they maybe wouldn't have expected at the end. And, I think for the longest period of time, rock and roll and country music have been intertwined. Whether it be when you listen to modern country now, if you go to a live show, it's a rock show. They just put their twang on it and their own, they just put kind of a slide guitar in it or whatever they do, a fiddle. Or as when you go to old rock songs, you know, like the Stones, they were playing country music. So it's like, I think they've been intertwined the whole time and, there's always room to, connect the two and bridge the gaps and, experiment a little bit just for the sake of making a great song. So, that's kind of what I was aiming for at that period of time. And I wasn't quite sure about it until the first time I heard the slide guitar on Wine Talkin'. And when I heard the slide guitar come in, immediately I was like, oh, no, this was the right decision. This is going to be cool. It's going to be something different that people wouldn't have expected, but I think we're going to hook them with it. And man, did it just worked out the right way. And, it's always a great thing to say, man. When it works out, that's always great.
Yeah. And who knows? That could be your next number one.
I hope so, but ultimately I just hope that, that people find it and they connect with it and that it means something to somebody out there. Ultimately, charts, as great as they are and as much as they help, it's really just about how much people invest into the song and will they play it again on their own when they're driving down the road and they're feeling pretty bad or something like that. Will they roll the windows down and turn up Fine Talking? Will they when they're hanging out with their friends, do they all want to sing along to it? When you're having a nice glass of rosé or something after work, will you play the song? I just want it to be a part of people's lives. And if it is a part of so many people's lives at one point in time that it charts, man, that's a really cool thing for me. But I'm just happy to be a part of a small part of someone's 24 hours they have.
Man, now that is spoken like a true artist right there. I don't think anyone has ever really just summed it up that easily before.
To me, it's a lot simpler than I guess everyone else sees it. I've never deemed success by the amount of bands that we play with, or the size of the crowds, or the charts, or anything that most other people gauge it by. All I gauge it by is did my music help you? Did it impact your life? And if that happens, then it's been a success. And I mean, how crazy is that? That as small of a feat as it sounds like, that's the biggest deal in the world to me. And if I can get my music a part of one person's life, then I think I can get it a part of thousands of people's lives. And every day I wake up asking myself the question, how do I get my music to a new person today? And what's the best way to make that happen? So if that is me booking all the shows to get there, that's me getting able to hop on podcasts and talk about my love for music. If that's me, walking down the street and seeing somebody and taking the time to hang out and talk music with them and take a picture or something like that. I mean, anything I can do to make that goal of helping my music get to people, and just anything I can do to make it a reality, I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna work as hard as I can to do it, because, well, hell, what else am I gonna do?
Yeah, man, you got what it takes to be an artist, and you want to do everything you can, not only for you, but for the fans and new fans alike.
Well, thank you, man. I mean, that's all that matters. The fans are all that matters. The noise that we make, that doesn't matter if there's no one there to hear it. So it's like, every single show that we have, I go out and I'm the person who goes and sells the merch to the fans. We have meet and greets built into each one of our shows specifically. So I get to shake the hands of the fans and thank them for coming to the show and hear about their lives, hear about their stories, and hear about how the music's helped them. I mean, that's what makes me feel alive. I love that, and so I think that's what it's about. And I think a lot of people miss that. As far as when you're in the business a long enough time, you can start to get jaded from it, and you do it a while and the traveling and stuff. But ultimately, if you don't kind of come back to the fans and just thank them for being a part of it and really connect with them outside of just being the soundtrack. I mean, I think that's where the magic's at. So I love doing that. And as far as as far as different rock stars seeing things different ways, I mean, that just kind of it separates the people that will live on forever and in someone's heart, and somebody that doesn't see the value of it. I think if you're in the business a lot long enough, or if you go to a lot of rock shows, you get fortunate enough to meet some pretty cool people. And if you don't see the value in all those people that are involved in the process, whether it be the bartenders or the lighting guys or the people that take the tickets at the door, or the other bands that are on the bill or anything like that. I mean, if you can't see that they're the reason why you get to have your job, then you need to reassess some things.
Just a few seconds ago, shake the hands of the fans. I mean, to me, that's like a tagline in itself right there.
Well, it's so simple, but so many people don't do it.
Yeah.
It's all you got to do is I mean, just shake their hand and thank them. I mean, we meet a lot of people over the course of a tour, and you know, sometimes it's hard to remember all their names and stuff like that. I do pretty good with faces, so I can remember people's faces, and so I just like to shake their hands and be as real and genuine as possible as how grateful I am that we got to share the moment together. I mean, I, uh, I've always said this and I've always believed that like the most valuable currency that we have in this life is memories.
Oh, wow.
And if
Yeah.
and if I can give you a memory, then you know, that means just as much to me as it means to the person who gets it. And I get the memories too. Every time I meet a fan, it's a new memory. And so that's how I remember the towns and I remember the cities and the shows is fun fan interactions and different memories that I have over the course of traveling. Because when you travel a lot, all the days can kind of just turn into one long day. Everything just kind of goes together. But when you get to make so many different memories in that process, man, it's so it's so rich with I don't know, I'm very full of gratitude for it. I think it's the most valuable thing that we have, and to be able to be in a job where not only I can make memories with people, we can pick a singular day and choose that this is going to be the day in this city that we make some memories together. I just think that's so special.
Speaking of memories, can you think of one that stands out the most to you?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. It's crazy because they're like different ones for each city. I mean, there's so many cool different moments. There's moments where you play a tiny town, like a local fair or something like that, where there's not many people there, but the people that are there, they're involved and they're right up front and they're invested in it. And you play 3 hours and they're there the whole time. And then you get off stage and somebody comes up and says something along the lines of, you know, I just lost a family member, or I just went through one of the hardest days of my life and you made me forget about it for 3 hours. You know, you know, cheering up and give you a hug and stuff like that. That's the most valuable thing, you know, there is to me. I can't even describe how special that is, for me, because that means I've done what I set out to do. So, I mean, there's dozens of things like that. There's really fun ones, where fans, you know, make their own shirts or make their own, merch and come to the shows, with crazy shirts or, I heart Drew Cagle shirts or, you know, a t-shirt that says, you know, I hope the van makes it through the tour or something like that. You know, those are fun ones. You know, there's nights where you don't have a show the next day and you can just sit there and you just get to shoot the shit and talk about your favorite bands with a bunch of people. You're just a crowd of people outside the show. You know, there's fun ones where, everyone has left and you're getting ready to load up the van, but you have a fan come up and say, hey, you never played my favorite song tonight because we did an opening show and only had 30 minutes. And then I get to pull out my acoustic guitar and play it for him real quick. I mean, stuff like that. Those are magical moments, man. I mean, those are all things that not only do they remember, I remember. And, there's tons of things like that. I mean, it's always fun when you walk into like a KFC or a Wendy's or a McDonald's or something on the road and someone recognizes you and you get to take some pictures with them while you're waiting in line. That's always fun. There's just so many great memories. I've been so fortunate. There's moments in the show those are outside fan interactions. As far as fan interactions while we're performing, we play at this place called the Dixon Theater in Dixon, Illinois. Just blows me away every single time we play there. And we do this thing in our show. We have a song called Back to the Light, and we have everyone hold up their flashlight, when I give them a cue in the song. And every single time we play there, every person in that theater puts up their flashlight. And, I remember the first time I'll never forget the first time that we played there. We played there actually with 𝘼𝙙𝙙. I did that, and there was about 900 people or something like that that put their light up, and I have a picture of it, and I have it, I have that in my house, of everybody with their lights up, and I just remember just being so blown away by that because it just showed me, hey, your song meant something to these people. Because I know what it's like to be a fan, and someone asks you to pull out your light, and you're like, oh my gosh, this again. My arm's gonna be tired. I don't want to do it. And then, but if the band's good enough and you're really on board with it, you're happy to put it up there with them if you want to be a part of the show. And to see that with that many people, that was breathtaking. And that was one of those where you try your best to remember the words of the song after that. So, I mean, we've got so many cool ones. There's ones where we opened up for Night Ranger acoustic one time, and had to be a 6-year-old fan way back in the audience, but someone had taken a picture from behind him, and he has both his hands up with the rock and roll signs on his hands. He's standing on the seat. I mean, that's such a cool picture to see and moment too, man. I could take up our whole time talking about it.
I could tell, but that's good though.
Yeah, man. I'm very fortunate. There's so many people out there that never get the chance to make great music and never get the chance to even have one or two of those stories. So when you get them, you hold on to them.
Yeah.
And I hope anyone out there that maybe didn't realize that, if you're listening, hold on to those moments. They're long after the music passes and long after everything goes away. Those are the ones that'll stay with you, and those are the ones that make you know it's worth it. So,
dude, I can tell why you write great lyrics.
Anytime someone asks me those questions, I take it seriously. I really do. I know a lot of people kind of just do off the cuff stuff, or kind of cheeky side comments or jokes or stuff like that. And there's a time and place for them, but like, someone's really asking you for advice, because I've been that guy. When I played with 𝘼𝙙𝙙, when I played with Puddle of Mudd, when I played with Living Color, when we first got started, that's always what I ask. Do you have an advice for a young guy trying to make it? And every single one of those guys took the time to give me a real piece of advice. And so if I have the opportunity to pay that back, then I will.
Nice. And we're gonna ask a question about REO Speedwagon. Do you think they're ever going to get back together with Kevin Cronin, just so Drew Cagle can tour with them?
Well, if that ever does happen, my phone is 100% open. But they have got back together a couple times. I don't know if you saw it. They did a memorial for Gary 𝘵𝙗, and all the guys got back together, Cronin and Bruce Hall and all them, and so they've been in the same room together. They did a thing at the 𝘼𝙙𝙙 where they were all together. I'd say never say never in rock and roll. At the very least, I'd like to see any of them in some fashion still play the music out there. I don't care if they're together. I don't care if they're separate. I mean, these guys wrote the soundtrack of my life and so many people's lives. If they come out, if there's an opportunity for them to play the music to the fans, I think people should go. Regardless of what happens behind the scenes or what people say or anything like that. The music is what matters. It's the only thing that's ever mattered. So if they can do it together, man, would that be special? And would I love to be a part of it? But if they can still do it in their own ways, I'm rooting for it just as much. We're playing with Gary 𝘵𝙗𝙗's old solo band, actually, this August. Ironically, at the Dixon Theater, the place I mentioned that had all the lights. We're playing back there with so Gary, when he first left REO, he had a solo band for a while and made some really cool music. And so after Gary passed, the solo band has kept on playing the music. And so they're doing REO songs, doing stuff from Gary's solo catalog with them. I'm excited to play with them, man. I'm excited to be a part of keeping the legacy alive. I mean, that's what matters. It's the music that we love, and if we can pay tribute to the people that came before us, why don't we?
Yeah, and you know, that's a start right there with the REO connection.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love everyone involved in REO and all the people, whether it be Bruce's daughter or the people that are still involved in just what an incredible creation of music. But who knows? Who knows? You never say never. Um, but if they never do it again, what a career! And thank you for all the incredible memories.
So, well, Drew, man, I want to thank you for being a part of the Youth Gone Mild podcast. Totally appreciate you taking your time out today.
Hell yeah, man! Thank you for having me.
All right, just because this episode is over does not mean summer is over yet. Oh, hell no. We still got 2 full months of summer left, but not quite 2 full months of pre-produced Youth Gone Mild podcast. I should be back second week of August with all brand new openings and closings. But until then, you're kind of stuck with what you got. And I do apologize for that. But like I said, we have a family vacation coming up, a few road trips, and other commitments that I need to be taken care of. I hope everybody understands. I'd just like to thank my guest here on the Youth Gone Mild podcast today, all of my listeners, and my sponsor, Celebrity Events by Lisa Gandia. And don't forget, if you like what you hear, go to my social media pages at Youth Gone Mild PC. Give it a like, give it a follow, leave a comment. And if you're looking for the next episode date of the Youth Gone Mild podcast to resurface, then just follow us on all our social media platforms. And don't forget, we are also out there on all major streaming networks. Give us a like and a follow there as well. All right, this is Gen X Joe telling you to rock loud, live proud. Peace out. Props everyone for listening to the Youth Gone Mild podcast, where hairlines fade, but rock never does.
Gen X Joe.